in this sun these last few days since it was really, really hot. I just was not up for it. I still believe that the best way to handle the heat is to get out in and be conditioned for it, but I just wasn't up for it. I just did not choose to. But today, we're doing the whole nines. We're going to do a whole nine, rather. We're going to Hollywood, climb the hills with a heavy backpack, all that. We're doing it in the heat. And I said it's supposed to get upwards of a 91 today. I saw another report that said it could go as high as 97. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's anywhere from 90 to 100 today. Yesterday got up to 100. And that might have been the hottest day of the summer so far yesterday. We're in the middle of a heat wave that's supposed to last through next like Tuesday or something. It's going to be above 90 degrees until then, and then hovering around 87, 88 for the rest of the time. So I think we're now in the real summer for the valley in this area. We're finally getting an actual summer, because to be honest with you, it ain't really been that hot this summer, which is really strange. I mean, it's hot, yeah, hot for another era of time, but in comparison to last summer, there is no zero comparison to last summer. Last year, we had a day that was as high as 117 degrees, and yes, I was out in it. And no, it actually didn't feel that hot. I think it was because we had been dealing with 5 or 6 straight days of 103, 102, to where your body gets conditioned for higher floor as it pertains to what you're comfortable with. So it was so hot last year that there were days where it was like 93 degrees that I was like, man, this is cool. Like, I remember, and I made videos on it. Those videos are still up. But like last year, make this summer feel like a day in winter. That's how the difference has been. But I guess we're starting to finally get it now in August, so we deal. But yeah, man, I feel really good, man. I've been feeling much more close to God since I've been engaging in this 30-day challenge to not self-pleasure, you know. And I know that that's a lot of information for a lot of people. Probably don't want to hear that. I didn't expect to talk about it as much, but it is a real thing that I'm trying to embark on. And I've been successful through 10 days now, 8 days, 9 days. And I feel like I have a closer connection to the Most High because of it. I think that my time is obviously utilized away from that energy, and so that it's not taken away from time that I would otherwise do more productive things, praying harder at night, praying harder in the morning, and just feeling closer with God. I don't know if there's a spiritual thing to that, but you got to look at it like this. Your seeds and your eggs, men, women, respectively, they harbor the souls of people that you're going to be providing life to if the opportunity arises. So when you remove those things from your body, I'd imagine there's some spiritual disconnect between the spirits that would otherwise be there and when they're not. Now, I came to this conclusion 2 years ago when I also decided to do the same for about 60 days. I had no intention of what may. I was just not doing anything. And I found myself closer to God, and the spirit felt stronger. And I felt like there was a noticeable difference in my life and in my body. And I think I'm feeling that now as well. So I don't know if there's anything to that, but it seems like it could be. And I just feel more spiritually strong in this phase of my life right now. So I'm just rolling with it, man. You know, it is what it is. A lot of prayer. And I feel like the challenge that has been issued to me spiritually has come to me at a time where I would really need to be closer than God, more so than maybe I would have needed to be leading up to this point since I found myself in this situation. This is the time, based on some of the stuff that's going on around me, based on some of the bad luck that I've had with sickness and spider bites, just little what my mother would call gnats of life. I've been having them thrown at me a lot over the last, say, 2 weeks. You know, I'll talk about one. Last night, I went on my one of my favorite sharing apps for art. It's an app called Sketch-A-Day. I've been posting on this thing since before I got over here. Maybe discovered that app maybe 2 months before getting evicted. And it's one of those things where literally every day you post your art. You put your art on the channel, on the app, 2 a day. Sometimes they allow you to do 4 a day, depending on what's going on. And you are given kudos, nothing substantial, but kudos for streaks. So if you're on a streak of a month, they will let you know, hey, you're on a month streak, you're on a 2-month streak. So the intention was to never miss a day. And sometimes I miss days, sometimes I mess up, because it's an everyday thing. So you may forget, but for the most part, I've been very consistent about posting on this thing throughout the entire time I've lived in North Hollywood. I went on that thing last night to post, and it wouldn't let me upload anything. And the type of person I am is I like to just upload and leave. If you go on my art pages, I don't write no bios, I don't promote nothing. I don't like to type up anything about my art. I'm just weird like that. It's the same thing I feel about posting on YouTube. You guys know, if you look at my bio, you ain't gonna see no write-ups. I'm just strange like that. It's just a weird idiosyncrasy of my personality, to where when I post something, the last thing I want to do is type anything about it, talk to anybody about it. When you click on it, you know what it is. Your interpretation is what matters to me, not mine. And I just feel icky when I have to type up something. There's no reason or rhyme to that. That's not a normal thing. It's just me. I don't like typing up nothing. I don't want to write a bio for nothing. I don't want to promote nothing ever, literally ever. And so when it comes to this, that's how I am. I don't check my comments, and you know what I mean. Someone will leave a nice comment, I'll hit the heart, say thank you. That's as much as I'm gonna type. Otherwise, I'm out. I'm putting up what I gotta put up, and I'm out. But the thing about it is, and this is what it is, they call it Sketch-A-Day because that's the theme. They want you to sketch something every day. And they will give you a word, and then they expect you to literally do the art at that time and then post it at that time. I ain't wired like that. I don't find myself the type of person either to do art on demand. That's why I don't do it professionally. Because a lot of times it's on demand, it's based on what people want. I want you to do this, draw that. My art doesn't work that way. I motivate myself fully, 100,000%. The motivation behind it is dictated by me. I'm a control freak when it comes to that, and I'm not willing to relinquish that at all. Like I said, I'm a little strange when it comes to this type of stuff. And so for me, it's like, a lot of times, if not every time, the art that I post was something that was done previously at any given point. And you guys know, if you follow me, I've been doing this art thing consistently as a practice, more or less, for what? It's been like now 4 years, maybe 5 years. Like 4 years, basically, when I quit my job. Started maybe a year into that unemployment process. And I do it in mass. I do a lot of them. At this point, I've probably done about, or somewhere in the 9,000s. Somewhere in the 9,000s. All right, under 10,000 of them. And so I can post something different every day for many years. You'll never see this. You're like, maybe I'll forget and that I posted something, or maybe something will just be too good to not post as it pertains to what they've asked. You know what I mean? They asked for the color red, and I got my favorite red one that I'll post again, that I posted maybe a year ago on this channel, on that site or whatever. But for the most part, I can post something different every day. And that's what I try to do, try to post something every day, because I have so many. So when they say, hey, they'll put some unorthodox word up there that doesn't actually even describe a thing, it'll be something that, a feeling, and then they expect you to match that emotion. What a lot of people do is they draw a person and they'll have them saying the word so that they can keep up with the theme. Me, if the word is too crazy, I'm just gonna post whatever, fam. You know what I'm saying? If you give me a word that describes not a visual but an emotion, maybe if I have something that I've drew with a face that looks sad, I might put something up there sad. Otherwise, I'm gonna look for something that makes me feel like that word makes sense. If you don't equate to it, if you can't see the vision, or if you have a different way of equating what that looks like and you think that I'm, not matching what the theme is, then that's up to interpretation. But when I think of the word triumphant, a certain piece may come to mind. When you see it, you don't see triumphant. But in my mind, I feel like I'm trying to get as close as I can to the theme, right? Because what does triumphant looks like artistically? Who knows? To everybody, it's something different, maybe. And so for me, it's like, I try to just make sure that I post every day. Something different every day. Something that I'm proud of 9 out of 10 times. And throughout the course of this 2-year span of doing this, 3 years almost, whatever it's been, depending on the admin, the person who's supposed to be administrating, and monitoring things, will determine how they let me get away with that, so to speak. But the key to getting away with it is I have to actually check my DMs to see you say, hey, that didn't match. And I don't check those. I don't check them at all. I post, I bounce. If you had a problem with it, I never found out. You see what I'm saying? And what they had been doing with this new admin that they had over the last couple of, say, a week or so, is she was monitoring my stuff, and then she would put the bot response in my DM saying, hey, can you please write up something that would connect our theme to what it is you've posted. Now, mind you, I ain't never seen this. So I keep on defying that by posting something different every day. And every time it's her, she keep on sending the same message to my phone, same message to my DMs within their app, rather. And so it's one of them situations where I go to post yesterday and they wouldn't let me upload. It literally was not allowing me to upload. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's something wrong with the app. I uninstalled the app, I reinstalled the app, to log in, same problem. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe the app is down. So I gave it a night. Tried again this morning when I woke up, same problem. And so I'm like, let me check my DMs. Maybe they have been basically what I found it was, which was trying to connect with me to see if I would either write a write-up for each and every post. Maybe that's a new rule that they've made, or they're specifically targeting me because they don't perceive that I've been following their theme. And that's what it was. I looked at a bunch of the stuff. She even deleted one of my art pieces because she said it didn't follow a theme. I didn't even know she had done that. And so my thing is, oh, okay. And I looked at my DM and she had written one up. She didn't give me the bot. She was like, look, the whole purpose of what we're doing here is that people follow the theme. It wouldn't be Sketch-A-Day if people don't follow the theme. All right, cool. I respect that. I uninstalled that shit and I'm never going back there. If you don't take my art in the form that I'm willing to give it to you, you don't have to have me on there. But what you got to understand is, one of the reasons why your app is so successful is because of people like me who take pride in posting every day for literally 1,000 days. And one of the things that I saw in my DM was from somebody who was a fan. While I was looking at all them things that she was essentially saying, that bot responses that were repeatedly in there, and her just not accepting that I'm posting whatever the hell I want to regardless, was a fan of my work saying, your brand is really recognizable. I appreciate seeing you post every day. I'm bringing people to your app doing things my way. And it's not like I'm going so far away from your theme every day. I try to match your theme to the best of my understanding, but I don't draw people. I don't draw planets. I draw images of collages of colors. I'm not a person drawing artist. I can't draw a face to save my life. I'm not a theme drawing artist. I'm not drawing places or people or animals, and I don't draw shit like that. I draw abstract waves, and different things like that. So when you look at my art, you can interpret it a million different ways. I ain't never going with any theme. That's not the type of artist I am. That they have a certain theme that they're trying to have people follow that makes their app what they want it to be, and I don't follow that app position 100% of the time. So even though I'm literally probably their most consistent poster of their whole damn thing, I probably post more consistently than anyone else probably in the last 3 years. They're kicking me out of there because I'm not doing it their way, which is their right. But my thinking is, I'm not going to change. I respect you have rules. If you're not pleased with how I do things in breaking your rules, I will comfortably remove myself from your situation. Because it ain't going to be me drawing every damn day based on the words that you're placing up here. I'm not going to do that shit. But what I do have is 9,000 pieces that I can post every one or two of them every day, and people never see the same thing over and over again. And I'll try my best to match what it is that you're saying. I try my best, but like, I ain't about to just like get up out of whatever circumstance I'm in to draw something just because you've posted a word that half the time I have to look up because I really don't know what half them words mean. They don't describe a thing or anything. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, if you're married to it to that degree, where you gonna kick somebody out who posts every single day for over 2 years just because they're not following this ridiculous rule, which really don't make no damn sense when you really consider it? That's your right. You know, that's my thing. My thing is, hey man, no hard feelings. I may not be happy with your choice, but hey, if I'm not following your rule and your rule is set in stone, and you feel that rule defines what it is your app is, cool. You define your app the way you want to. I remove myself. But what you gotta understand is there are people who come to this app to see what I post. I got fans. So they're not gonna be happy when they don't see me no more. And that's what I've come to believe, and that's what I ultimately saw in my DMs. More than one person saying, yo, I love this piece. I love what you do. You post every day. You have the most recognizable brand, or whatever they say. Thank you. Thank you. But the admins don't want me here anymore. And I'm not about to start doing things differently or change my way as an artist to fit their way of doing things. I'm just not willing. I'm not willing. And the only reason why you see these pieces is because I do them my way. Otherwise, art is not art if I have to do it someone else's way. And so I would say I'm in the wrong. For those who are wondering what my position is, I feel like I'm in the wrong. I'm breaking their rule. Got away with it for a long time. I'm gracefully bowing out. I didn't have nothing to say to nobody. I didn't take it up with the admin or, you know, DM her and say, how could you, or anything like that. I handled it the same way I handle everything else. I post it every day without saying anything, and I'll walk away for the rest of my life without saying anything too, because that's just how I am as an artist. And so I said my prayers. I was like, God, I'm not pleased with this, but I understand that they have rules for a reason. And if the most important thing is for them to keep that rule going, I'm comfortably willing to remove myself from their app. So that's what I did. I uninstalled the app in both of my phones. I'm done with them. You know, God bless them. I thank them for allowing me to post my stuff for 2 years. I had a great time doing it. I would have kept doing it. Had no intention of stopping. And I thank everybody who gave me likes. I was averaging probably 150 likes a week on an average of maybe like 12 or 13 posts. That's a lot of, that's like 9 to 10 likes on each post. You know, I felt like I was pretty damn successful there. You know, so I think I got a lot of exposure on that app. I think there are people who, if they see my art somewhere else, if they followed that app, they will remember my brand, and that's really, I guess, what came with that. My confidence is up as it pertains to my artistry. I'm good. But it does suck that you can be so dedicated to providing your art to an app without any request for pay, without any request for anything, and get tossed aside like you some type of problem. I thought that was pretty it's pretty telling about who runs that app and who they allow to control it. And so I think a lot of people want things done their way as it pertains to specific admins. Like I said, I've been on there for 2 years. Ain't nobody ever kicked me out. Most people respected what I was doing. Most people, if they saw my work, they knew I was trying to follow the themes. Some of them themes were damn impossible to follow. That's what it really came down to. Some of them words, they didn't even mean what it is that the picture that they would put up would ultimately display. So then themselves weren't following their theme by way of the example of what it is they would show. It's happened more than once. And I didn't think nothing of it because I figured they're out of the country. So they didn't really understand the language, or they have a different meaning for the language for certain words than we do. But sometimes I'd have to look up a word and it wouldn't describe nothing about what it is they showed as an example. So it's like, it's not like I'm sitting up here saying you misled me in any way. Why the hell are you getting mad at me when I'm not following sometimes what it is that you have trouble following when it comes to these words that y'all post? And so for me, I'm just like, yo, man, I feel slighted for sure. But like I said, if anybody's in the wrong, it's myself for not following their rule. And I tell anybody else, hey, listen, man, if you're not going to follow the rule, they're going to want to kick you out so that you're not an example to others that it's okay to not follow the rule. And I respect that. But as it pertains to me, there's only one condition from which I'm willing to post my art, and that's under my terms. My terms. And I'm not wavering on that. I think I reserve that right as well. And what I am comfortable with is walking away if my terms aren't met, just like they're comfortable kicking me out if theirs aren't met. There's no problem with that. That's what it really comes down to. If you're comfortable with standing on your square, then all you can do is respect somebody who's comfortable doing the same as it pertains to you. You know what I mean? That's all you can do. You just got to tip your hat and say we're both stubborn, and my leverage in the situation is not caring if I have to walk away or not. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. There will be no write-ups. There will be no appeals. There will be no more art on your page. That's really what it comes down to. I'm good. Y'all don't like me the way I am, then you will live without me, whether you have any concern for that or not. You know what I mean? So that's really what it is. I will miss posting my art every day. Some nights it got a little irritating when the words didn't quite match my art. I do the best I could. But yeah, man, I'm done with that particular app, though it served me well. It served me well. And if you're up for following their rules, I think it's a great way to showcase your talent. But for people like myself who just have a lot of stuff in the vault that just want to do something with it, that ain't for you. They want you to draw every day. That's exactly what their theme is, and that's how they feel about it. And I just think that limits you a great deal. I think that limits you a great deal. I think that is a very unfortunate thing for Sketch a Day to do, to draw a line in the sand at their terms when you have somebody on who's as dedicated to their app as anybody. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it, man. I'm out. I have no interest in communicating with anybody. Like I said, you know, for me, I feel like that's a part of my social deficiencies, if I'm being honest with you. As I self-assess why I don't write bios on here, why I don't write bios on my art pages, why I don't necessarily write bios on my social medias. It's just, it's something in that same conversation of not wanting to be social at times, not wanting to be in there with groups, not wanting to have to express myself or explain myself as it pertains to my art or myself as a person. The things that I post and the things that I'm about will show you. If you're interested in looking at some random post, when you click on there and you find out what I'm about, then you know what I'm about. I ain't got to tell you nothing. I ain't got to type nothing. I ain't got to explain to you anything. I'm not after anything. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sell myself to gain your interest. Even if it works, I do not do it. I don't care to. I refuse to even. You know what I mean? And so that's just how I'm wired. I'm 40 years old, gonna be 41 in 10 days. It's exactly how I'm gonna be wired tomorrow. And if it keeps if it keeps a cap on what it is my success is, I'm comfortable with that because I stayed true to myself. And I stayed absolutely true to myself. Some people say that's not how you do it, that's not what works. I'm not interested in caring about that at all. I just do what I do. And I'm in the lane that I'm supposed to be in as according to my exact DNA. I ain't going outside of that DNA for nobody. And the leverage I have is being comfortable walking away. And so that's what I have to say to everybody about that. Definitely was offended by that process, but I understood it. I understood it. And if I were the admin, maybe I'd take that same approach. But the lesson I learned from her doing that is make sure you know who it is you're doing it to and what they mean to your app. Look at the streak. How long have I been doing this? How many days have I missed? I'm not a new person. And so that's really what it comes down to. I think I accumulated probably over 10,000 likes over the course of 2 years, judging by what it was given to me. Some weeks I'd walk away with 130 likes. Some weeks I walk away with 110 likes, 98 likes sometimes, that kind of thing. That's usually what it would be, the tally would be throughout the end of every week. And when you do something like that every week for a little more than 2 years, those things accumulate pretty good. And so I felt like I got a lot of exposure on their app, and I'm very grateful for that. So that's really what it is, man. I'm still doing art. In fact, I've been doing more art over the last couple of days because I've been in the house than ever before, and I feel like I'm getting better. Even now, I'm still improving on my style and the various different things I'm doing. I've enjoyed more of what I've made lately than I had made leading up to this in a while. So, there's pockets at a time where my art is better than not, I guess you can say. That's how it usually works. You can see an era where I was really making good pieces, and then some eras where I'm not, and then eras where I'm doing well again, and it comes and goes, that kind of thing, as it pertains to the quality of what my opinion is about my art. But I think I've been in a very good era over the last, say, 2 weeks since I bought my new colors. So, my confidence is sky high, man, and I would love to find another post-a-day art app, if there's one that would exist, that kind of operates similarly to where you only put a couple up a day. That would be cool. I do have some apps that I ultimately work on. Deviant Art, you can find me on there. Bdf 44 Deviant Art. You'll find most of my pieces on there. I think it's only like 2,000 of them missing on that thing. All of my new stuff, everything I make that's new is posted there. Also Pixiv, which is usually for like Japanese manga, but I post on there as well. Maybe once every 3 weeks or something, every 2 weeks. I'll put like 20 pieces on there. So that's kind of how that goes. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of art. You look on DeviantArt, there's like 7.5 thousand pieces there. So you're gonna see a lot, man. I haven't lacked in volume. Quality, I think some of my stuff is pretty good. A lot of it's trash, I think, but you're not gonna be without when it comes to me. You will sit there for hours scrolling through my account, looking at my stuff, and I take a lot of pride in that being the case. So yeah, man, I don't call myself a talented artist. In fact, I find myself to be not talented artist who's been determined in practice to improve to his highest point. When you suck at something and you decide to try to make yourself as good as you can get, this is what you're looking at when it comes to me and art. Ain't that talented art? Not at all. I would say I'm not a talented artist, but that's the point. How good can I get at something I'm no good at? Was the question. That's exactly what the question was. And so, things I'm good at: blending music, playlists. Very, very good at that. Great at that, in my opinion. This content, this type of thing, video stuff, I think I'm pretty good at this. Not having a script, but just coming up with concepts and just talking. I think I'm very damn good at that. Even my Lakers stuff, even when I'm analyzing basketball stuff, I think that I'm very good at that. I really do. I think I'm a pretty solid basketball mind when it comes to a novice who didn't play, who analyzes the game and follows the game. I think I've turned myself into somebody who's damn near professional with that. And when it comes to this art, based on where I'm at, within the parameters of my abilities, I've gotten really good. And I think you'll get really good at something too if you do it as many times as I've done it. And so that's really what it's about, man. I think if I were to get the exposure that I'm supposed to get for my art, I think I'd be an actually respected artist. I think I'd be very respected at this point, especially with what I'm capable of making from here. And so that's really what it is, man. Like I said, my brand is what stands out. My emblems, my styles, they're unique to themselves. I'm a real creative, and that's what I pride myself on being. I'm not about to start doing art someone else's way. I'm not trying to get good at drawing people or drawing animals or drawing houses and stuff. I'm not trying to get good at that. I want to keep doing my collages, keep doing my my designs, and master those. That's really what it's about, man. And so that's what I wanted to say, man. That's what I needed to vent. I felt like that was one of many things that's been thrown at me in succession over the last several days that is meant to try to throw me off. You know, physical things like sicknesses and itchy arms for different reasons. You know, bad news that came my way and stuff like that that I couldn't talk about. A lot of these things are coming in succession. And when one thing clears up, another thing comes in. That's what it's been for me over the last 7 days. When one thing clears up, another thing comes in. I'm never quite just centered like I always am. And I'm comfortable with that because the Lord, like I said, has put me in a space where I'm abstaining at the same time. So there's more time to absorb thoughts, center myself, get out of my feelings, treat whatever my circumstances are without something breaking that spirit in sinful, selfish ways. And so it's aligned perfectly with what it is that's been coming my way. This is the mindset you want to be in when you're having that type of thing happen in your life. And I'm thankful that the Lord has made me trust him enough to follow that voice that issued me that challenge right before certain things came in that would otherwise need my spirit to be in place. This sketch-a-day banning being one of them. And so I don't know how long that ban, like I said, is a suspension. I think what the idea was is they tried to lock me into write-ups for every post. I think that's what it was showing me. I think that's what essentially was saying. If I were willing to make a write-up explaining how that piece would relate to the word that they've posted, I think it would have allowed me to post. But I didn't find out. But based on how the display was, it looked like that is one of the things that had changed in the posting process. You know, they have certain things that you have to, you know, is your post sexually explicit? Is it AI work? I think one of the things that they had highlighted that hadn't been highlighted before was a demand on me writing up a bio on each post. And like I said, I'm not willing. There's no part of me that's willing to do that. So that's really what it is, man. I didn't put a period on there or write a word on one of them to see if it would let me post on every write-up, because if it does, that's equivalent to me being kicked out, because I'm not going to do that on every post. I'm not going to want to. I'm not interested in communicating through words on that at all. So yeah, man, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I think I'm strange in a way to say that maybe I value the mystique as an artist, the anonymity, is that a word? Anonymousness, the mystique as an artist. The less you say, the more you give. The more people are interested in what it is you display because they wonder and they question who you are. I think that could be potentially what it is that my thinking is. But I ain't really giving too much thought to why I refuse to write up things on my posts. I ain't really giving too much thought to that. So, yeah, man, it's just what it is. And move on, man. The end of an era, man. And the process of enjoying the things I'm most appreciative of while I'm going through this process of receiving different things that are supposed to irritate me in succession. You know, I looked up spider bites last night just out of curiosity. Now, why does a spider bite? And they said it's extremely rare that a spider bites you more than once. No matter what type of spider it is, it's usually they said that the majority of the time, a spider is only going to bite you if it feels threatened. If it feels, and even in doing so, it's not usually going to bite you more than once or twice. This spider bit me 5 times. I didn't as much as see it until the 5th bite. It crawled up and down my arm, pretty much in strategic spaces, so that it can inflame my entire arm in an itch. I did nothing to that spider until I saw it, when I slapped it off of me and smashed it off of my arm. I don't know what could have provoked that spider to behave that way, but it felt to me that it was literally a spiritual attack. They didn't feel like that was just a spider angry at me. It felt like the devil sent something at me to continue a discomfort that I had already been feeling for a week leading up to that moment, for which that discomfort had finally subsided. Because I had told y'all about the itching that I had, and I've mentioned already in this video. I had some food allergy deficiencies that inflamed my entire left arm to the point where I had swollen bumps on multiple aspects of my left arm. What are the odds of that healing up and immediately getting stung 5 times by a spider that does the exact same thing to the opposite arm? What are the odds of that? I would imagine they're not very high. If I wouldn't have known any better, if I didn't see the spider and actually kill him myself, I would have thought it was just a carryover from the hives, because it did the exact same thing to the other arm. And I may have showed you, but they've gone down now. But you could probably see them. 1, 2, 3. There's one somewhere else on here, and then there's one back here. All of those had a circumference that was as big as a small pancake. Big as a small pancake. That itched and inflamed the arm in those areas. The other arm, when I had that same problem that I was discussing with the hives, it did the exact same thing. Big, huge pancake size itch marks that would inflame the area, made the area swollen in multiple areas on my left arm. I just don't know what the odds are of something like that actually happening. And I want people to understand, I received the bad news that I was struggling with, that I can't talk about, some bad news for me, whatever I saw it. That information came my way while I was sitting there getting stung by that spider. That's what I was doing when he was biting me, was thinking about the information that I just received. Basically, when the information came my way, he was on my arm biting at the same time. Like, and when you look up spiders' behavior, you find out that what the behavior that spider was behaving in was extremely rare. Spiders don't necessarily do that at all. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. And last week, before the hives popped up, I was having the stomach issues that I had been having, that they had gone away. Before that, I was sick with a cold that lingered for about a week. This is a lot of stuff been thrown at your boy over the last, say, since my uncle left, basically. Since my uncle left. It's been just dealing. But some things have worked out very well, just the same. You know, some things have been working out great. I got my room, even though I had to sit there till like 3:30 in the afternoon and got stung by all that and got all the bad news and all that at that time. But the room has been great. Comfortable bed, excellent AC, an upgraded AC than most of the other ACs in that room. So my room's been wonderful. I've been able to do my exercise, keep up my exercise. Like I said, my art's been better than usual. Enjoying the music that's been coming out. My playlists have been pretty good in this process. So it's a lot of stuff that's been working out too. So, you know, it ain't all bad. It could be a lot worse. Some of those things could have been bad too. Some of those things could have went bad. They didn't. But that was something I won't soon forget, man. I won't soon forget the quote-unquote luck that's been coming my way over the last, say, 10 days, start of August, end of July 2025. It's been very, very uniquely unfortunate. Certain things have been coming my way just this 1 week. Just this one little 1.5 week span. It's been really weird, man. A lot of stuff that's not likely to happen very often, all happen at once. And like I say often, you know, a lot of times when you do damage to the enemy, when you talk about some of the stuff that we talk about on this channel, talk about some of the conversations I've been having, trying to get people to get closer to God and different things, I just think this is the enemy's reaction to that. This is him showing me I've really done damage, trying to hurt me, trying to knock me off my pivot, so to speak. And I'm comfortable with that. It's a spiritual warfare. I'm comfortable with that. That's what it gotta be, you know? But that just shows me that I've been doing the right thing. I've been hitting some tender spots in his process. I've been throwing shots at him that have landed. And this is I guess his way of utilizing what he controls to hurt me, for which I've seen more than once in this era of my life. As I told y'all, I felt the same thing was happening when I was going through that process with my homegirl Kay. And I mentioned that back during that era. I felt like that was what was going on then. He was utilizing things that he controlled that affected me to hurt me. And so I just think that this is another one of those eras where this is what he's doing. He's using things he controls, things that are within his control, to hurt me. And so I'm just in a space where I'm much closer to God than I was at that point. My trust in God is so much more extensive. And I just feel like I'm significantly stronger than I was back then. And I think that's why I'm handling all this so very well. You know, I think I've handled this about as well as any of these type of things that have ever happened in my life right now. So, you know, stay praising God, stay doing what I need to do, stay committed to what it is that my goals are, stay committed to what it is that ultimately should work, and give all the rest of the discomfort to God, man. Give all that, you know, praise God while the discomfort's in place, just to continue to poke at the enemy. That's really what it's about. Bdf 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.